From Houston Landing. After a contentious election season, Arcola mayor voted out, Vida Williams elected. And Arcola is a small town a little bit less than an hour south of Texas. You might think this weirdo race-baiting politician would be getting a little bit more attention, but he's not, so I guess I have to do it. My name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
Because it would help me a lot and cost you nothing. The algorithm is a monster. They're trying to get me to quit, but it's not going to happen. If you want to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, go ahead and buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. But this guy is Mayor Fred Burton of Arcola, Texas. And we recall mid-April 2024 when he came out and just did this weirdo race hoax thing again that I guess people bought.
Gina, Eric, people out here are scratching their heads, asking themselves, aren't we in 2024? Both the mayor and the chief of police tell us that they find this very, very troubling.
I pull out a note. It said, get out of this race now.
A threatening political package with a pervasive punch.
It's a slap, especially in a black man's face, that he has to open up mail like that and see something like that.
Yeah, whatever, motherfucker.
It's very funny how the story of him being ousted or replaced by a black woman, for the record, is not really making the rounds. But when he came out and said, somebody sent the news to my office, that was everywhere. TMZ reported that. I had never even heard of the town Arcola, which is right outside, less than an hour outside of Houston. Right? Nobody had ever heard of it until he came out and did the race baiting thing. And I thought, maybe I should follow up on that story. And sure enough, here's the follow-up. He was removed. And it's very strange that, look, we know how the games, the media, and the tech companies play. But when I was searching on Google Chrome, I couldn't find one story that wasn't about him finding the news. But when I go to DuckDuckGo, immediately they say he was replaced as mayor. And it's unrelated, but from KTLA, they recently wrote a story about how corporate greed has nothing to do with the insane gas prices. And then they reformulated that story to let you know that, well, maybe gas prices are going to be high to stay. But that's a completely different story, and maybe that deserves another. Think about the manipulation. So KTLA said, well, corporate greed has nothing to do with this. And somebody came from on high and said, you should change that headline. But that's a different story. And my point here is, when I tried to follow up on this completely corrupt race-baiting mayor, Fred Burton, Google Chrome didn't want me to know that he had even been replaced. But DuckDuckGo let me know immediately. And they say, Vida Williams was elected as the city's new mayor Saturday, bringing an end to Fred Burton's 6-year run as mayor and a contentious campaign season. So when he came out and said, somebody sent me a letter in the mail, it wasn't postmarked, but it said drop out the race and had a noose in it, and he completely left out that he was already the mayor, so maybe people don't like you. And then they say here, this weirdo publication, contentious? You mean he's a completely lying scumbag? Williams' victory comes after months of political turmoil in the city filled with a legal battle over a council member's residency and criticism over Burton's use of public funds. Williams, an Arcola native, is Burton's first challenger since 2022. She ran on a platform of bringing, quote, common sense solutions. Okay, that's fair. I guess you want to quote it, put it in quotes, but as far as I can tell, I've never heard of this publication before, but it seems to be a weird, hard lefty publication, so they don't want anything to do with common sense. But whatever, credit where it's due if you want to quote her for actually bringing common sense. And I also noticed on her website, I can't find anywhere. She doesn't even have a Wikipedia if she's a Democrat or Republican, which is good. I think that's how more of it should be, right? Just don't tell people because they've been so brainwashed. And that would actually work for the Democrats as well, because I've said 100 times that they need to complete an entire generation of image overhaul before anybody will believe a word they say. So maybe she's a Democrat, maybe she's not. But I think if she were, they would tell us, and I can almost be certain he is, simply because of how he acts. She ran on a platform of bringing common sense solutions to City Hall and making Arcola a destination city. Williams also founded Community Express, a summer youth program focused on the social well-being of children in Arcola. During the campaign season, Williams was often targeted by the former mayor. In April, Burton took to Facebook Live to post a video of Williams' campaign flyer sent to his home being set on fire. Now, that's pretty, I mean, we're talking about a grown man, right? This is not a teenager. This is not AOC. This man has gray in his beard, and he was on Facebook Live setting a campaign flyer on fire. Williams and Burton could not be immediately reached for comment. Election season full of political turmoil. I mean, that's the nice media-friendly way of saying this guy is completely corrupt and he's a scumbag. The path to this election has been surrounded by drama and scandal. Most recently, the mayor has been criticized for holding public information behind a private Facebook page and using taxpayer dollars to hire a private investigator who followed a council member he aimed to oust. Okay, so this man is hiring private investigators. He is sending himself or having his buddies or whatever send him a noose. He is using a private Facebook page. And are we also going to believe? Like, we can't believe anything this guy says. A week before the election, the mayor was sent a noose and a note warning him to withdraw his candidacy. And you know what's really funny is, like, why is there no allegedly there? All these other stories, right? A Guatemalan migrant assaults a girl, an 11-year-old girl in Florida, and the New York Post says allegedly. But when you're talking about a race-baiting corrupt politician who sent himself a noose, allegedly, they don't want to say that. They just say, oh, well, he got a noose, even though it wasn't postmarked. I mean, this is just through the roof. The mayor was sent a noose and a note warning him to withdraw his candidacy.
What, you lost, boy? Move on, boy. We don't like your kind around here. You better get out of here before something bad happens. That's right.
The FBI and United States Postal Inspection Service are currently investigating the matter. Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to get an update on that. Under Burton's leadership, the city of more than 2,000 obtained its first public water system and developed its first master planned community. During his campaign, Burton promised more growth, business, and improvement to city infrastructure. Incumbent council members Rosemary Bigby and Mayor Pro Tem Florence Jackson also kept control of their council seats. While the heated election season has come to a close, the political stakes in Arcola are still as high as the city awaits a judge's verdict on a lawsuit 3 city council members filed against Burton and city officials in March. City legal troubles. On May 7th, presumably 2024, a Fort Bend County judge will decide if Burton and other city officials interfered with the official duties of council members Ebony Sanko, Rosemary Bigby, and Evelyn Jones. The council members allege Burton and other city officials did not include requested items by council members on agenda and unduly worked to remove Sanko from council. Disputes began in February when the mayor openly questioned the residency of Sanko and insisted she did not live in Arcola, therefore had to vacate her council seat. To prove this, Burton hired a private investigator with public funds. Okay? So this guy is all over the place, and he knows he can get away with it. Like I said, when I'm trying to follow up on the mayor who received the news, the only follow-up on DuckDuckGo, for the record, is that, oh yeah, he was actually replaced as mayor by a black woman. So what did you think was going to happen, bro? Did you think that nobody was going to find out? You played the race card, and then you got replaced by a black woman who, for the record, as hard as I might try, cannot find out if she is a Democrat or Republican, which I think is actually really good, and we should do that much wider, right? Bryson Gray, shout out Bryson. he mentioned on a live stream we did one time that, they should put some of these policies up for a vote without telling you who sponsored or wrote it. And that could eliminate some of the derangement syndrome that people are dealing with. To prove this, Burton hired a private investigator with public funds to follow Sanko and her children for 5 days. The investigator went through Sanko's trash and was able to get directory information about her children. The decision to hire the private investigator was not brought before council for approval. Arcola's city code only allows the mayor to make emergency purchases of less than $1,000 without city council approval. City Administrator Annette Goldberg said in an email to the Houston Landing on April 26 that the mayor got approval from city attorneys before making the purchase. Burton has maintained that this dispute is solely about Sanko's residency. Sanko, however, believes that this move to oust her is an act of retaliation because she would not vote according to his wishes on a land deal that would bring 350 new homes to the city. So yeah, this is pretty crazy. It's really going around. Obviously, the talk of the town for the past few months has been Tiffany Henyard.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power.
The super mayor, the city girl mayor. Of course, you got Eric Adams up in New York who says the migrants are going to get whatever they want. Then you got the mayor in Denver who is pleading with migrants to get into a shelter, right? They're making demands that he needs to meet for them to go into a shelter. And what if they don't? What if the city doesn't meet the demands? Then you continue to live under the bridge and terrorize people. And for the record, who wrote those demands? I mean, it rings of like a weird communist manifesto that some weird Denver Antifa people made. But that's a completely different story. The developer, Compass Land Development, LLC, has been in a contentious legal battle for months with the city after the mayor led efforts to back out of a land deal. Conflicts between city officials and council members have stopped city business. Arcola has not had a full city council meeting since January. The judge's decision will determine if Sanko can serve and vote on the council May 7th. So that actually already happened, and maybe that's worth looking into. But it's just crazy that this is really going around. These people think they can get away with anything. And if you try to stop them, they're going to call you a criminal. They're going to hire private investigators. And this man was quite literally replaced with a woman named Vita Williams for Arcola mayor. And I don't know her from a ham sandwich, but when you get famous, Fred Burton, former Arcola mayor, when you get famous for promoting a race hoax, there's no way. You have to go with whoever the opposite is. And I know nothing about this woman, but she seems pretty legit. He rings of Tiffany Henyard, while this woman rings of, what's the lady out in Virginia? The black lady who's super based? I forget her name. But she rings of that, while he is corrupt. I mean, it's just completely disgusting. 100% committed to advancing Arcola for all residents. Will bring common sense solutions to the problems facing our city. A bridge builder who will work with neighborhood governments for a better Arcola. And as corny and cliche as it sounds, obviously all we need is common sense. I've said that for many months, even years now. It's not about Democrat. It's not about Republican. It's not about, conquering and creating solutions to these very difficult and intricate problems. It's about bringing a tiny bit of common sense. For whatever reason, that flew the coop years ago. And this weird thirst for power, this weird level of corruption, this strange detachment from reality, now has this grown man committing race hoaxes, hiring private investigators, disseminating city news on a private Facebook account.